YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 2 wide receiver start and sit video for you guys. Again, this is based off of PPR and full PPR to hopefully get you guys in the right particular lineup to help you guys win this week. There is a game tonight on Thursday, which is going to be the Chargers versus the Chiefs. And a reminder, there are 2 Monday night games, so make sure you pay attention to that. Of course, follow us on socials, or of course, hit us in the comments. Make sure you pay attention to any injuries that are occurring, whether it be practice or, of course, reoccurring from week 1, and that way you guys are ready for it. Now, these are going to be your obvious wide receivers you should be starting this week. Again, no question, whether it be lineup or just target heavy, these are guys you should be starting in your lineup without a question. Most of these guys have performed really, really well this first week and should be able to do that in week 2 as well. Now, my first wide receiver I have as a good start is going to be Allen Robinson. And you guys are probably going to blow up my comments on this, but look, going against the Falcons who gave up 51.6 points to wide receiver. They also gave up over 200 receiving yards to receivers as well. Both Terrell and Hayward were not performing really well. They're actually down really low in the PFF rankings. And this is a game that I believe McVay will focus in making sure that Robinson is targeted and part of the game plan. Not sure what happened the first game. I do not believe in overreactions like most people. Allen Robinson is still going to be a good receiver for this Rams offense, and somebody that I'm going to start this week and feel pretty good about it. Now, another guy I'm starting this week, and usually he's in my obvious, but I have Diontae Johnson there. Diontae Johnson obviously was heavily targeted with Mitch Trubisky, but there wasn't a lot of yardage, no touchdowns, anything like that, so his performance wasn't obviously top-notch like he normally can be. He is going against the Patriots, who gave up 42 points to the wide receiver. They also gave up 190 yards receiving as well. Both corners really struggled in that game, and there was a lack of pass rush from the Patriots, which obviously affected it. Trubisky, again, targeted Johnson 12 times this last game. So this is obviously his favorite target, and I do expect to see that again this week as well, but sprinkle in a touchdown will help give you guys a really good wide receiver 1 performance. Now, the last guy I have as a good start is going to be Amari Cooper. Now, I had him as a sit last week, and he didn't perform really well. This week, I have him as a good start because he's going against the Jets. The Jets obviously were a team that was a very underwhelming pass defense. They gave up 3 receiving touchdowns and over 39 points to the wide receiver. All right. Now, this obviously as a good start, it's going to be based off of him receiving a touchdown. He was not targeted at all during the red zone, and I don't see that as something that's going to happen again. I do see him probably around the 70-yard mark, maybe 5 to 6 catches and 1 touchdown will get you about 18 to 19 points in this week, which is a good wide receiver 1 aspect. So I feel really confident in him this week. Now, as far as some sits, there are going to be some big names in here that I think a lot of you guys may or may not be shocked. The first guy I have as a sit is going to be Brandin Cooks. Going against the Broncos, who gave up the fewest points to wide receivers this last weekend, which was 19.1. Part of that obviously was the offense was Geno Smith. Metcalf didn't look amazing. Tyler Lockett didn't look amazing, but that's okay. All right. They also kept the receivers under 86 yards. You have to understand that secondary is really good. Now, they did lose Justin Simmons, which is obviously going to be a factor, but I still think Brandin Cooks is going to be somebody I'm sitting because I don't like his matchup. Surtain was the 19th quarterback in PFF. He's going to be the one covering Brandon this weekend, so I'm going to kind of hold off on him. Now, again, if he's your wide receiver 1 or 2, you may have to still start him, but I would look for other options, maybe on waivers. You can check out our video as well. CeeDee Lamb is somebody I'm going to sit. Now, he was targeted 12 times in week 1. He'd had quite a few drops, but being that he is the true wide receiver on that team, and you've got a backup quarterback in Cooper Rush, I am not confident at all. Now, this will be a shootout, and what I mean by that is Bengals will be up big, unfortunately, and the Cowboys will be playing catch-up. So this will be a game where maybe you put him in the flex, but I'm not confident in the wide receiver 1 or 2 spot where you drafted him. Bengals actually did a pretty good job. They gave up the 3rd fewest points to the wide receiver at 23.2, and they also gave up only just under 80 yards in receiving yards. So not only were they a really good defense, but you're also playing with a backup quarterback and really the only target for the Cowboys. So I'm really hesitant on starting CeeDee Lamb. Another receiver I'm not starting this week is Marquise Brown. Hollywood didn't do horrible, but he also didn't do great. They're going against the Raiders, and this is going to be kind of a tough one. Murray did not look accurate at all in his first game, and part of it is he did not play preseason at all. And, of course, you guys all know about the whole COD, stat of whenever there's a new Call of Duty or Warzone. we'll see how that really does, because obviously there's a lot of Call of Duty event stuff going on. But Dortch actually was targeted a lot more in the receiving game than Marquise Brown was. Now, what saved Hollywood Brown was the touchdown that gave him some decent points in fantasy, but you can't rely on a receiver that's not getting heavily targeted, not getting a lot of yards, and you can't rely on that touchdown. So he's someone I'm sitting this week, because the Raiders actually were a pretty good team against, obviously, the pass. Now, some good sleepers. There's actually going to be two guys on the Thursday night games, because Joshua Palmer's the first guy against the Chiefs. Chiefs allowed 32.9 points to the wide receiver. They did a pretty good job. They only allowed 129 yards receiving. But, again, a lot of that was going against a Kyler Murray who didn't look really good. Now you're going against a Justin Herbert, who's a completely different quarterback, who I think is going to be a way better quarterback. Keenan Allen also is being ruled out for this game, so Palmer is now going to be the wide receiver 2 with Mike Williams at wide receiver 1. You should be starting Mike Williams just because of what's going to happen, but I like Palmer a lot, and I think he's actually going to get targeted more his way than I think Mike Williams, so I think he's a really good sleeper. Another guy I have as a good sleeper is going to be Juju. I like Juju. He got targeted 8 times last week. He did score double digits in his first game. He wasn't obviously in scoring a touchdown, but he did a really good job getting those targets, and I think that's only going to improve. Now, the Chargers actually are a pretty good defense, but they did allow over 170 receiving yards, which obviously is a big deal, and they allowed 37.8 points. So again, he's going to get his targets. He's going to get his work done. So if he's in your lineup, make sure you put him in the wide receiver 1 or 2 spot. Do not put him in the flex. Again, no Thursday players should be in your flex. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for you guys this week in fantasy. If you guys do have any other questions, hit us up in the comments down below. Of course, you can hit us up on our socials, and make sure you check out our other start and sit videos, and we'll check you guys out next time.